Most people don't fail because of paint. They fail because of this moment, the spray gun setup. Look at that finish. This is what happens when everything is dialed in properly. Alright, so today we've got this black VW. It's giving Corolla vibes, but trust me, we're about to take this paint from okay to full glass finish. Right now it looks clean, but wait until we finish. This car is about to start flexing. Now here's where most people panic. 600 grit sanding marks everywhere. It looks rough, it looks ugly, but this is actually perfect. You don't spray clear coat on beauty, you spray it on preparation. Now I know this part always scares people. You start seeing all these sanding marks and think, yo, I messed up the whole car. But relax, this is 600 grit doing its job. It's not damage, it's preparation. This is actually where the magic starts. If your base isn't like this, your clear coat won't bond properly. Most beginners rush this step and then wonder why the finish looks dull or peels later. So yeah, ugly now, but this is exactly where a perfect gloss finish is born. Right now I'm spraying the first pass of clear coat, and I've got my gun set around 2.0 bar to 2.2 bar, about 28 to 32 psi at the gun, depending on how the clear is flowing. I'm running a medium wet setup, not too dry and not flooding it, because clear coat is all about control and flow. My fan is opened up nice and wide so I can get even coverage, and I'm keeping my fluid knob set so it's not dumping too much material at once. You don't want to overload the panel on the first pass. I'm holding the gun about 6 to 8 inches away, nice and consistent, and I'm moving at a steady speed so the clear lays down evenly without striping. Overlap is around 50%, so every pass blends into the last one smoothly. That's what gives you that glass effect later. People always think more pressure means better finish, but nah, too much PSI will dry spray it and kill the gloss, and too low will make it heavy and cause runs. So you've got to find that sweet spot where it's atomizing properly and still staying wet on the panel. Right now I'm just watching the surface. You want it to look like it's slowly leveling out, not patchy or dry. This first coat is not about perfection, it's about building an even base so the second coat can really flow and give that deep shine. And yeah, don't rush it, because clear coat will expose every mistake like it's judging you in HD. Right now I'm just letting the material lay out evenly, watching how it starts to level and wet up on the panel. You can actually see the difference between a dry spray and a proper wet coat. Dry spray looks rough and dusty, but when your settings are right, it starts to look like glass even before it's fully cured. I'm keeping my speed consistent, not stopping in one spot, because that's how you get runs and heavy patches that ruin the whole finish. Every pass is slightly overlapping the last one, so the surface blends together instead of showing lines. This is where patience matters more than power. The gun is already set right, now it's just technique. And honestly, this is the part where most beginners start getting confident and then mess up, so I just keep it steady and let the clear do its job. Right now we're letting the first coat flash off, and this is one of the most important stages in clear coat work. You don't want to rush this because the solvents need time to escape. Otherwise, you'll trap them and risk things like solvent pop or dull finish later. You can usually see it start to change. It goes from looking super wet and shiny to a more even, slightly less liquid gloss. That's your signal. Depending on temperature and hardener speed, this can take around 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes a bit more if it's cold. I'm not touching the panel, just letting it breathe and settle properly. A lot of beginners make the mistake of going in too early with the second coat, but patience here is what gives you that deep, glass-like finish at the end. Right now, I'm going in with the second coat of clear coat, and this is where the real finish starts to show. The first coat was just building the base. Now this one is all about depth, gloss, and that wet glass look everyone wants. My gun settings are still around 28 to 32 pounds per square inch at the gun, nice and stable, because once your settings are right, you don't start changing things mid-job. That's how mistakes happen. I'm keeping my fan wide so I can lay it evenly, and I'm opening the fluid just a little more than the first coat because now I want that proper wet flow. Distance is still around 6 to 8 inches, steady hand, no rushing, no stopping in the middle of a panel because that's how you get heavy spots or runs that will humble you later. I'm still running about 50% overlap, so every pass blends perfectly into the last one, like the whole panel is melting into one smooth surface. Now this coat is different. You don't want it dry, you want it wet, but controlled. You should actually see it start to level out right after you spray it, like it's smoothing itself. That's how you know your technique is right. If it looks dry or dusty, something's off, usually speed or pressure. And honestly, this is the part where people start getting nervous because it looks really wet, but that's exactly what you want. Clear coat is supposed to look scary wet before it levels out. I'm just moving steady, no hesitation, no double spraying in one spot, because once it lands, you let it do its job. You're not painting anymore. You're basically laying glass on the surface. And you can already see that deep reflection starting to build up, especially on the black panels. It starts to look like you could fall into it. This second coat is what separates a normal job from a showroom finish. First coat builds it, second coat makes it shine. Now we just let it flow out properly, and after this, we leave it alone to cure. No touching, no overthinking, just let chemistry do its thing. After all that spraying, but trust me, this is not even the final result yet. In the next video, we're going to be fully polishing the car, cutting the clear, bringing out even more depth, more reflection, and getting rid of every little imperfection to make this paint look absolutely insane. Once the compound and polish hit this black paint, it's going to look like a mirror. So if you want to see the final transformation and the full review in sunlight, definitely stick around because that video is coming next. And yeah, if you made it this far, subscribe and stay tuned, because this build is only getting better from here.